Dad, you're back in town? Too busy off saving the world.
Well, you know the world doesn't save itself.
I'm gonna do something totally not awkward and make this the first day of the new me. It's time for me to do something meaningful. Where is the justice in pegging a civil problem on a single person trying to do something good?
Overachieve much, Miss Brown? I appreciate your enthusiasm, I really do. But shouldn't you be a little more concerned about your popularity?
What?
When Floozy in a costume says something about a crime boss, and suddenly GCPD is dancing to her tune.
I'll call him in. See if he knows anything about this spoiler character.
Nemesis is scary. Oh my God! Run! Go! Bitch, that ain't gonna help. You should have went through that exit door. You should have got out of there. Oh my God, this is lit. Yeah, through the window. Oh, he making noises. Oh shit. Chat. Oh my God, chat. But you went back in? Oh my God! I don't like that shit, man. Hey, somebody clip. He can one-shot you. Yo, it's your main man, King Castro X, coming at you guys live and direct with another episode of the Comic Cons podcast, kids. This is a very special episode, an episode in which I will not even attempt to number today, kids, because I don't remember the number of these shows. We do too many of them. But as you guys see, man, I got a very special guest in the building over here. My man, my brother, all the way from Twitch, all the way from Letterbox, kids. Twitch streamer, movie review specialist, my man, my brother, the one, the only, comic book fan, Excelsior. Welcome in, my brother. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. Thank you for letting me come on and chat with you about this special film. And hope you're doing well too.
For sure.
Yeah,
of course, bro. Yeah, super happy to have you, man. As you know, we have something very special planned. We've been brewing up, ladies and gentlemen. We've been cooking something for quite some time. Me and Comic Book Fan have wanted to do this. We kind of want to do it in our own way, but I figured why not get some reps in, come over here to the Comic Cons podcast, and we'll fucking do it here for a little bit and just see what we want to do. Guys, what we want to do is we want to review movies for you. We want to talk about movies, and especially starting off in the horror category, because I feel we're both big fans of horror, correct?
Fans, yeah. We love horror. We talk about horror quite a lot. It's our go-to genre. It's a lot there to unpack, and there's so much stuff that we haven't yet discovered. I haven't watched. There's always something through lists and YouTube and Letterbox and everything that I always find never seen before, or like to go back to, and it's always in the horror genre. So it's always, even if the film's not excellent, there's always something there to unpack.
I definitely agree with you. Even if it's the way it was filmed, the lens, like they try shit in horror you don't get all the time in other movies, man. So I'm really excited to talk horror with you. Perfect segue though, man. You brought up Letterbox, you brought up lists. Do you want to talk a little bit about Letterbox and talk about what we're gonna do here with this this mystical magical list in which we have got in our palms now, and we're gonna start doing things with? You go ahead, you tell them.
For sure. So Letterbox is like a review site. It's like an app, like a bit like Twitter. It's where people that are into films can come together and basically keep an eye on what they've watched, They can make lists of what they're into, different lists of horror, science fiction, maybe like actors. And it's just people, just communities getting together and keeping a track of what they've watched, and reviewing films they like and talking about it. And it's lots of things on there for tools to discover what you've not watched. And there's loads of lists. There's lots of people, reviewers from YouTube on there, and it's just a nice little way to kind of acknowledge what you've watched. And it's become a habit of mine since I've joined about 3 years ago, after COVID. And since then I've just watched more and more films, and it's become just like insatiable. I can't stop watching movies.
You also have quite the number, kind of like a badge. You know what I mean? You're up there in numbers as far as films you've not only watched, but you've reviewed quite a bit of them. Do you know offhand what your number is right now as far as this year? What have you done this year?
So this year I've watched about 700 ballpark and 740, maybe 730. It's in that ballpark. But since I've started, I've reviewed or watched 2,700 and something. So it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Some days I don't do anything. I just watch. On my Saturday, I watch like as many films as I can get in, and sometimes they'll be like 90 minutes, not long films. And I've mostly watched maybe 8-9 films a day sometimes, and it's just a way to I just can't stop watching. Rewatch films I've got in my Blu-ray collection, just a way to rewatch them, and it's a good way to watch again if I haven't seen them for ages, and just review them with a fresh pair of eyes.
Definitely. I want to plug that really quick too. This is a big reason I personally wanted to do this. Met Comic Book Fan on Twitch, and all we could talk about was films. My guy has a love for films. I want to say like I have a love for films, but it's in abundance. It's 10 times past that. This guy is he loves films. It's all I can say. It's his jam. It's his thing. Shout out to I Love Movies, or whatever that movie is called, which you still got to see, my guy.
I still
You'll like it. But talking to this guy about films is like talking to me about fucking comic books. Like, I'm gonna go off the rails with it and take you in places you never thought you would go. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's an amazing conversation. I love sharing this with you, man. It's one of my favorite pastimes as of late, man. It's just talking to you about fucking movies, man. It's cool to see somebody care about the art of film like you do. So with all of that being said, kids, past the intros, here we are. Kids, we found a list on Letterbox. Comic Book Fan found a list on Letterbox of, 1,000 best horror films, or what is it? You tell them.
Yeah, so it's a list. Someone has got 40 lists together and divided what popular films of horror are on those lists, and has made an ultimate list of 1,000 or maybe more, accumulated from every other lists of best of horror, and he's mathematically decided which ones have got the best views and put them on the list. And there's some that are like popular that we know, like Exorcist is on there obviously, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but then you get something there that's very niche or very culty,
right?
A lot of people have watched but has its own little following. And it's a good way, like you and me were looking for something to review, and horror's our jam, and there's just films on there that I would like to let you see that I've not watched, that I've watched that you may have not watched, like the one we've
like
watched
this one today
now, like this one, and also ones I may not have watched, and it's given me a good reason to watch it, and also reflects, maybe see what your tastes are and my tastes are, and we can chat about it. It's a great 100%. Way to kind of get our vibes.
100%. And I do want to say our tastes, they meet in the middle in some places, right? But also my taste goes way the fuck over here. You know that personally, on the weird side, which you are into, but then you also have tastes over here. So we get a nice variety with you guys tuning in to check this out, of just all kinds of horror, man. And we're going to do some shit out of the box too that we wouldn't necessarily watch, but for the sake of, having something to talk about for you guys, we're definitely going to do that as well. We have 1,000 movies. Comic, are we going to commit to watching every movie on this 1,000 movie list?
Yeah, we're going to try. There's some films I might not be able to access because some that, because of the state of movies now. There's a lot of movies on stream, but some movies have been lost or are very hard to find. There's some movies I've had to go on maybe see other ways to see it, and and so I'm hoping we can find the films that
Definitely.
you chose and we can watch them, because it's good that we've got this break between each film that I can.
Yes.
It's going to be like homework. I can find a way to watch them, because there's
Yes.
some films like are on there I know are not easily available, but you can find them.
100%. So I want to plug that up too, scheduling, since you brought up the break, guys. So this will happen. I think me and you agreed to every 2 weeks, me and Comic Book Fan will be meeting back here and reviewing one movie off of that list, right?
Yeah.
So perfect. Man, well, without further ado, brother, I feel like, you know what I mean? If you want to do the honors, this is your pick. You pick the first movie. Next week, I'll introduce movie. Why don't you introduce what we're doing, why you wanted to review this, the director as well, man. You got to plug up the director, actors if you know it, whatever, man. Do your thing, brother.
Okay, so I picked tonight 1986's From Beyond, which is classed as a body horror, but also cosmic horror. And it's a favorite of mine for a while, since I discovered it a few years ago. It's directed by Stuart Gordan, who is a very cult director. Does a lot. Has done a few Lovecraft adaptations, and this is one of those based on H.P. Lovecraft's books. And H.P. Lovecraft was a horror writer from early 1900s, late 1800s, and he wrote a lot of these kind of cosmic horrors. And cosmic horror is basically something from the unknown that humans cannot comprehend, something so beyond our comprehension that it can drive the character in the film mad. It can be something that we don't see. Our own fears, our own lives can be just minuscule, small compared to what's beyond the universe. And
So
that's reflected in tonight's film.
I want to ask you really quick. Now, is that so? Like, cosmic horror, man, that usually has to do with the beyond. Here we go. You know, I am curious. So is that kind of like a mindfuck horror? It's just horror that kind of leaves you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's something from not from your reality.
Yes.
That you know what I'm saying, kind of gets you. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's something from beyond the universe, from maybe the stars, or sometimes down below, deep underground. And in the films that cosmic horror was part of, the characters can't leave it alone, or obsessed with something that they can't understand, and it leaves them ruined, leads to death sometimes, or leads them their minds so broken because it's something unimaginable.
Definitely.
Something so horrific beyond our imagination.
Right, 100%. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify 100, make sure I got it. All right, man. So we're talking about the Beyond today. Just a quick summary. I'm gonna do my best to give you guys a little bit of the summary, and I'll let Comic Book Fan take it from there, because he's a professional here, kids. So basically, what goes on in this movie? It's about a scientist. You know what I'm saying? Who two scientists trying to create an experiment to awaken the third eye, the pineal gland. Correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, correct.
And so what happens is they access the beyond or whatever. It awakens the third eye, if you will, and a lot of crazy shit happens. This is where I fall off, and I'm like, "Yo, Comic Book Fan, tag, like, you take it from here, buddy."
Yeah. So these two scientists have made a device called the resonator, and it's a device capable of seeing in our world that we cannot see, something there that's there but our eyes cannot see. But the pineal gland, basically the third eye, it's to do with sleep, circadian rhythm, and it's also to do with vision, what we can see, darkness. And these scientists want to see what's hidden just beyond our sight. And these like big tuning forks, and they resonate and they pick up frequencies, and they're allowed to see. It allows them to see these creatures that are supposedly all around us, but we can't see. But it kind of backfires. And these creatures, if you look at them, they can see you, and that's bad trouble.
It definitely is. I want to go ahead and just point out, man, as we're getting into it, or speak on, you know what I'm saying, some of the effects that I saw with these creatures. You good with jumping into it like that?
Yeah. The creatures in there, like these little worm things, are very good. They're very kind of unique, and it's just the taste of what it is. It gets, as the film goes on, it gets more bigger and more crazy and more just fucked up. It just gets completely out of control, which is the norm with H.P. Lovecraft.
100%. Whenever I think of the big one, I kind of think back to that movie James Gunn did, Slither.
Mhm.
Yes. It's like an early version of that almost. You know what I'm saying? Not as big and grotesque and nasty like in Slither, but
Yeah.
like you can see similarities. But yeah, man, I felt the effects on this were pretty good as far as, you know, them making the little worm looking monster and stuff like that. I thought that was done really interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's really good because it's wet. It's
Slimy,
it's
right?
slimy, goopy horror. And what happens to the main scientist, Dr. Pretorius, I think his name is. He's the kind of head scientist. He's got a bit of an ego problem, and he's got a bit of a, you know, he wants to kind of rule the domain of this world, and
Definitely.
and what happens in the beginning of the film is he's killed. He's murdered. His head has gone off, and his assistant, played by Jeffrey Combs, good actor, great cult actor. He's found by the police that he's done it. They think he has committed this crime, and he goes is assessed at the psychiatrist's hospital, and they think he is guilty. But there's one psychiatrist that believes him and goes back to the house to turn on this machine, and they see this Pretorius doctor who has transformed into something very monstrous and grotesque.
For those of you guys that don't know, Pretorius is the doctor's last name, the one that created
that's
the
the name.
experiment.
Yeah, his Pretorius is his name, and I forgot his first name, but the last name is very memorable.
It's very unique last name.
Yeah.
Let's talk really quick, comic, about kind of the asylum scenes, right? Whenever they're there and she's kind of talking to him, you know, and just how do you feel the actors did in that moment? I kind of really enjoyed the male actor. What did you say his name was?
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs.
He's been in a few Lovecraft adaptations, 3 actually. Reanimator, which was done before this, and
Same
Castle
director?
Creek. Same director, Stuart Gordan. Stuart Gordan wanted to do a universe of H.P. Lovecraft films. He's done quite a few, and he wanted the same actors. Barbara Crampton, who is the chief psychiatrist who is helping Jeffrey Combs' character, and Jeffrey Combs himself, and he's been in a lot of stuff. Jeffrey Combs been in Star Trek. He's been in I Know What You Did Last Summer. He's been in The Frighteners. He's had a long buried career, and they're really, really great actors. They're very iconic horror actors. Jeffrey Combs is really good. His line delivery, like when he talks about the Dr. Pretorius' head being cut off like a gingerbread man.
Yes.
That line.
I was going to get to that. What did you think of this? What did you think of that, man?
I forgot. I remember it when I first, because I haven't seen this film for a while, so I watched it again yesterday. And that line, just how he says it, he says "gingerbread man." Like that. It's a great line delivery, and he's really good with his face twitches.
Yes.
Like, his face acting is amazing.
So that's kind of what I was going to get into a little bit, is just the way he's really into the character. You can tell he's into what he's saying as he's delivering it. Even with, I got to say, the gingerbread line fucked me up. I was like, yo, what? What did this guy just say? But it was funny. It was good. It was good. But he's really into, like, it's all here, man. It's all here for that guy. And I really enjoyed that. That was cool. Yeah. I also like the female psychiatrist as well. She was phenomenal. The main female.
Yeah, she goes all in. Pardon the pun. She goes really in, because there's some scenes that are probably uncomfortable for the other actors, but she's made a career of those kinds of scenes, and she's just really kind of fun to be with, because she goes right into the job. She does a lot of screaming. She's like a scream queen. And she's just really reliable. And as the film goes on, she kind of succumbs to this resonator and becomes a bit obsessed herself. Yeah, and it's interesting watching her, how she is at the beginning of the film to the end, just how far her character's developed and has gone full insane.
It's like she went from professional, as a professional lady, to, more on the wild side. You know what I'm saying, which was absolutely crazy to see. I loved seeing kind of the similarities, guys. Just so you know, we're kind of going not necessarily scene from scene, but we're gonna be bouncing around, man, just talking, having a good time here. I really enjoyed seeing the similarities of Dr. Petraeus, right, and her, right. It's almost as if they both got kind of taken over by what the beyond does to them. You know what I'm saying? They kind of became obsessed. They needed more once they got a hint of that pineal gland, whatever it's called. You know what I'm saying? They both changed. You know what I'm saying? They were obsessed with the machine or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. The story is about obsession, and also these two characters, Dr. Pretorius and Barbara Crampton's character, they're both at the beginning. Barbara Crampton, really, you can tell she's seeking a reward, she's seeking fame, and same with Pretorius. He's kind of a bit higher. He thinks of himself as the goat. He does the head scientist. He really wants to like rule his domain, and it's
and so
kind of,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
it kind of gets a bit control, because you see a bit of his background as well.
That's what I was going to get into.
Was that what you were leading into?
Yeah, you got
into S&M and pleasure. And it's interesting when he talks about pleasure to the brain. Reminds me of Hellraiser a little bit. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't. We will watch it. We'll watch it.
The Cenobites, how they talk about pleasure and how it's linked to pain and pain to pleasure. And it's really fascinating. And she also starts speaking like that. Whereas Jeffrey Combs is more the kind of, he knows it's wrong. He's trying to stop it. And also another actor forgot to mention, who's the sheriff in the actor.
I was hoping you'd bring this guy up.
Yeah, he was in, I didn't know his name. His name's gone. But he was in Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead.
He was in several different. So I spent a little bit of time on IMDb just researching the film and things because I knew you would come with facts. I knew you were going to have some good facts, so I had to have some backup info too. He was in Dawn of the Dead. He's been in, you know what I'm saying, several of the Rob Zombie pictures as well. Halloween. He was in, I'm going back to IMDb so I don't forget. I think he was in Devil's Rejects. You know what I'm saying, and just several different films. He's the guy whenever have you seen Devil's Rejects?
I haven't, no. Unfortunately, I haven't seen that one yet.
Bro, that's like one of my we got it. All right. I'm gonna see if it's on that list actually. But yeah, he's been in several different things, man. He's been around for a long time. I saw a video game that I think he did a voice in. He's been doing his thing as well. So shout out to him. Yeah, I'm glad we brought him up.
And he was in I remember him mostly from Kenan and Kel. I don't know if you watched Kenan and Kel.
That's crazy.
Kenan's dad.
I don't remember that. I watched Kenan and Kel, but that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
I remember him in that.
Yeah. So as they're recreating this experiment, let's kind of talk about what happens. We kind of talked about her starting to get obsessed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan's character, correct? Jonathan.
Yes, Jeffrey.
Sorry, Jeffrey's character. You know what I'm saying? Definitely is like no. And then we got the sheriff character who's kind of on the side of Jeffrey. You know, like, hey, we probably need to get out of here. Did y'all see that? I can't believe that. Like, we gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And then if you want to take it from there, man, feel free to take it.
He's probably the audience. He's what we would react. He's kind of like saying, no, he's kind of trying to be the logical one in his own way. You know, he's also very cool in the film, and he's always there saying, we got to get our asses out of here. And what happens is as well, she's starting to dress as well, change, and what happens to Jeffrey Combs' character is he gets his head eaten, sucked by a giant beast.
But that whole scene for both of them was just nasty to me, bro. Not only him getting his head sucked, but she had her head in a thing as well.
But his head changed, like, it's almost phallic. It almost looks like a genital.
It does. So do the worms. A
lot of genital looking things, and then he's goes completely bald. Yeah, and he's
Reminds me kind of Conehead without the cones. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he's got a very big forehead.
It's very disturbing looking. I
Yeah,
did not
and his
like.
eyes as well. He starts to look pretty
Mhm.
alien a little bit.
It's
Like you can
weird.
tell he's changing in a different way to Barbara Crampton. He's physically
Mhm.
changing, whereas she's
Mentally.
changing psychologically. You
Yes.
know, two different how this resonator affects them in different ways, really. And Pretorius is probably one of the best villains. I think the guy that plays him, his
Mhm.
voice and how he's like relishes what he's saying and just how he looks. And each scene he looks different. He's
He
kind of
does.
changed. He always looks different. He's looks
He's growing
sometimes he's
more
got
and more. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Looking, yeah.
Sometimes he's got a hunchback and a long
Mhm.
neck, and then other times it's like just a normal body, but it's almost like Play-Doh. Like he can change. He puts his hand on his shoulder, and
It's
it's
so
like
gross.
soft.
That scene whenever he was talking about this is just a body, Petraeus, and he rips off his face. He starts peeling
Oh
it.
yeah, that
That
was a good
was
effect.
yeah. Again, I really was a big fan of the effects in this film, man. So they're recreating the experiment. They go back to the house, right? They recreate
Yeah.
the experiment. You know what I'm saying? They uh Jeffrey and the sheriff guy are like, yo, we got to get the fuck
Mhm.
out of here. But she's like, no, we have to do it again. There's more. As you mentioned earlier, she's really big on like achievements and awards, and she seems to be thinking in that sense of like, like we could save so many people with like schizophrenia and this and that. Like, please, let's just do it again. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? So they go back. Uh, actually, they go to bed that night. You know what I'm saying?
they
And they're like,
do.
we're
Yeah,
talking about it in the morning. You
yeah.
know.
And she wakes up and she
Hmm.
turns on the machine herself
Hmm.
and makes it worse. And I think
Hmm.
that's when his head like his big
Yes,
old
that's
stinky
where you get
thing.
the whole
Yeah,
phallic head
yeah,
thing going on. Uh, and then after that, is that where they go back to the mental hospital? Or isn't there one more thing where that happens before they go back?
yeah. There's well it gets to the point where the Pretorius can control the machine himself.
Mm,
He knows he's looking for a way out. He's looking for a way to infect everyone to get it out
mhm.
there, and he senses Jeff Combs's character's weakness that he's kind of becoming mutated like him,
He's
although not.
changing,
Yeah, he's changing. Yeah, and
definitely.
he and flies come out, bugs
Mhm.
come out, and kind of
Also, another really
yeah,
done really well with the effects and shit. I liked that scene a lot.
yeah, it's
So,
great. Yeah, it's you
mhm,
see like his flesh being eaten off, and just his
mhm.
bones. Like
You
this,
get
because
the
yeah,
go
you
ahead, go
do.
ahead.
Yeah, I've just remembered the guy's name, the sheriff's name, Ken Foley. That's him.
Okay. Are
Yeah.
you about to talk about what happens to him?
Yeah. Were
Okay,
you
go
going
ahead.
to talk about it? Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, of course.
he basically gets eaten, but his legs look. He starts to look like a chicken,
Yeah.
like a chicken bone.
They did that really well. That
They
was
did
that
that
was
great. Yeah,
crazy. So
that was just a great scene. This film is full of like great body moments and
it
death
definitely
scenes.
has. You hit the nail on the head when you said it was body horror. There weren't scenes necessarily in this film that like scared me. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
had me like, oh, but like it had me disgusted multiple times. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Which is kind of what I wanted. Being
And
body
credit
horror.
to and credit to the film that it still looks great even
Hmm.
now. Like it's like I would put it up there with The Thing. It's scenes of practical effects
Definitely.
work is just a sight to behold. Always good to, even if you may not like the film, it's good to see just the effects at work.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Speaking of, just things that they did good as well, man, as we're here, especially talking about the moments with the machine and things like that. Man, I loved the lighting that they
yes,
chose for that, the
hmm
pinkish, the purples. That's one of my favorite things about like 80s horror films is they always seem to have that pinkish purple or like a red light going on, and I always
yeah.
think that that's just such a brilliant choice. If I was to make a horror film, even in this day and age, like I'd probably have to recreate some kind of scene, just at least one where you got the red, the pinkish, and the purple lighting, the 80s look. I love the 80s look.
Yeah, it looks like
It
neon
does. It
lighting.
does. 100%. Kind of cyberpunky, if we're being
Yeah,
honest.
it
You know
does.
what I
Yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
I love it so much, man. So that's really good. I really appreciated that.
yeah.
What'd you think of how it was filmed? Did you enjoy it? Was there anything special about it for you, or was it just, you know what I'm saying, regular?
It was filmed like regular. It wasn't like
Mhm.
didn't take too many daring chances with
I
the way
agree.
it was. You know,
Well,
it
there's
wasn't
nothing
doing like
wrong with that, but
no.
yeah.
It was focused more on just the story, and
Mhm.
it was showing you. You don't want to see it jerking about or going upside down, because when you got
Definitely.
shots like that. The
Mhm.
director wanted you to see the amazing work that's been done on screen, and but the lighting choices were really good, as you said, and
I
also
agree.
the sound was great as well. The
I
sound of
f
the resonator was like
Mhm.
that.
I
Were great.
agree. I feel like the choices they made creatively were the correct choices in this
Yeah,
film.
me too. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what
Because
I'm
there's no
saying?
fuss or muss. It's
Yeah.
it's because it's a short film. It's only
Mhm.
86 minutes long, and they really kind of had good control over it. It was managed well, and the first half was just build up, and then
Yes.
they kind of only did the great thing with the second half, where okay, we've teased you, now we're going to show you the hell.
Definitely. So, really quick to pick up where we left off, in that scene where Dr. Petraeus he tells Jeffrey as he's holding the girl, the psychiatrist, you know, he tells him, you're changing, you're turning in, you know, he didn't say you're turning into me. I don't remember what he says. He said he had a line in there though. Uh, Humans are easy prey or something
Yeah,
like that.
something. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, but I'm trying to
But
think.
anyway,
I
in
get what
that
you mean.
scene,
Yeah.
yeah, in that scene, Jeffrey also gets his third eye open, and a little thing comes out of his forehead, uh,
Yeah.
which allows him to see the world differently. And then they kind of go into like, what is it? Predator visuals. That's what it
Yeah,
reminds me
exactly.
of.
Yeah, the kind of like yellowish, greenish,
Yeah.
the all shapes and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
with that, he kind of sees the world a little bit different, right?
yeah, he does.
It's
Yeah, and
mhm.
he starts to he has a taste for brains.
Yes,
Yeah, which is pretty
zombie-esque a little bit.
yeah yeah in a room, and he's got like buckets, and it's all got people's brains. And he's just munching on them.
So this
Pretty
is when he makes it back to the asylum,
yeah, yeah, we've
right?
kind of gone forward. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
So they've been found by the doctors and stuff, and they've gone back for kind of like to be told off. Like
mhm,
the woman Barbara Cranston has been told that she's going to be arrested because
mhm.
they found her with that wild hair and dominatrix suit, and he is obviously they're assessing Jeffrey Combs because he's starting to look not quite white,
Right.
quite human. Yeah, and then obviously he escapes, and she also escapes, and he's killing doctors, munching their
Mhm.
eyeballs out,
You get a
and
really awesome scene. She escapes the hospital, and then he obviously is going after her for
mhm,
reasons we'll get into in just a second. But you get the really awesome scene outside of the hospital with the IMSA truck drivers, which is the ambulance. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if IMSA is the same in the UK as it is in America. IMSA is the ambulance here. I don't know if it's the
oh,
same
okay,
for you guys.
yeah,
So you get the ambulance drivers.
yeah,
Anyway, outside of the hospital, and the partner's yelling at her partner like, yo, give me a candy bar, I'm starving, blah blah blah. She goes around the corner, and then he's there eating her partner or whatever, and then you got the homeless guy scared because he had the thing coming out of his forehead, and then he eats her, and it was done really well. I liked that a lot. I think the
mm.
homeless guy had like just this green throw up
Yeah.
on
Well,
his shoulder,
that
man.
stuff, yeah, that probably sickened me.
Yeah, that was really gross.
That was gross. Yeah, like
I
there was
thought
all
he
like,
was gonna yeah, I
like
thought he was gonna eat him, and I was like,
yeah,
"No, please don't. This is already
yeah.
nasty." You know what I'm
Maybe
saying? So,
maybe six too much for Jeffrey Coombs. Maybe
mhm,
just blood and brains.
definitely. So then we get back to the house.
Yeah,
She runs back to the house. He follows her. We get in the house. She's going to destroy the machine. That's her whole thing. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Which is crazy because throughout the whole movie, she's like, "No, this is this. We could do stuff with this." You know what I mean? And then, here we are at the end. She's going to destroy. She finally understands that it's evil. And Jeffrey seems to be a bit different as well. Do you want to
Mm.
talk about that?
Yeah. So she's gone with a bomb somehow,
Where'd she
which
get
I was
that?
yeah, that was one thing I was confused about because she went straight from the hospital to the house. So how did she get a bomb?
I'd have no idea.
In its own logic, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it makes sense. It's the
yeah,
horror
you know,
verse.
it's a horror movie.
Mhm.
We've had bodies dead and big
Mhm.
giant heads. So you know, and she's going to destroy it, but he's kind of starting to change more, and he's having a conversation with Pretorius, and
Mhm.
him and Pretorius are kind of having a little fight, little
They have a
battle.
little one-on-one.
They
I really
do.
enjoyed what he said. Jeffrey said to Pretorius as well. I wish we knew Jeffrey's name in the fucking movie, dude. Like, I
I
just keep
knew
on
it.
remembering.
I
I
knew
don't
it, but I kind
remember.
of
It's
forgot.
going.
I
I
only watched it
literally.
yesterday.
Yeah,
You watched
that's
it
what I'm
just.
saying. That's what makes it even worse. I watched this. I literally just finished. We just started recording probably 40 minutes ago. I saw the last scene, and what makes it even worse again is that I got comic book fan here, like quoting the whole movie, and I'm trying to remember. So he saw it just yesterday. Shout out to him, but like I don't
I
remember the
know it.
guy's name.
I know it now. I know his last name.
What is it?
Tillingast. Tillingast.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first one though, but
No.
it doesn't matter. It's fine. Go watch it, kids. You'll hear it then. But I liked what he said to him, and I'm probably gonna slaughter this, but it's like he's like, you know, the ultimate pleasure is this isn't how he talks either, kids. But the ultimate pleasure is to know the deepest, most intimate thoughts of someone's brain or whatever as he's doing weird shit to the girl again, second time. Uh
Yeah.
but and then fucking Killinger, Jeffrey, we'll stick with Jeffrey because that's what we've been saying the whole time. Jeffrey's on, so you've never understood pleasure, just pain or whatever. And then they have their little standoff, and then
Yeah.
take it from there. Yeah,
Yeah, and he
I
goes.
enjoyed
This is where it goes out of the room. Like he's
it.
actually out the room chasing after. It's got some POV shots. I forgot to
Yeah.
say that when you said about how it's filmed. That's I think
Mhm.
I don't know if that was a budget reason. Maybe like the big monster that couldn't fit it in the door.
Yeah.
Maybe wasn't ready to. Maybe they couldn't make it move. So they did
That
a
makes sense. That's probably why they did that. You know what I'm saying?
POV shot. Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
kind of put the cameras, and when he got to the bottom of the stairs, they could have it out because maybe it was hard for him to get down.
Right.
So, but it culminates in him. He takes his head off. He eats Jeffrey Combs' head,
Mhm.
and then the Dr. Pretorius goes back to kind of meet Barbara Campton's character, and Jeffrey Combs is still there, saving her, and comes out of Pretorius's head, mouth,
Mhm.
to kind of get out to shut the machine off, and she jumps out the window before it
Blows up.
explodes.
Right. Man, I'll say this movie was definitely a different choice for me. It was different.
Mhm.
It's not what I was used
What
to.
you would have picked?
Yeah. But I enjoyed it. It was a fun watch for me. Again, when it comes to horror films, I wasn't like or anything like that. Like I didn't get scared, but I will give credit where credit's due. The body horror was great, especially for its time. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We're in the 80s right now. The effects were fucking great when it comes to the body horror. I loved the lighting, and though we have like the inconsistency in the story of like where the fuck did she get a bomb?
Yeah.
The story was still like a really fun ride and quite consistent, I'd say. How do
Mhm.
you feel, man? Talk to me.
Yeah, well, I think it's probably one of the most funniest horror movies. It has a good line between the horror and the humor, which Stuart Gordon's done in other films. Reanimator is mostly one of them, and it's a bit like you see it and you don't know whether to laugh in what he's saying or be like kind of just took back. Because even though it's not a scary film, the things that happen in there do shock you a little
They
bit. Like,
do.
how did they do that? What did they
Mhm.
do that? You know, it's a bit disgusting at times, and
Definitely.
but it's a strong film, and it's a good adaptation of the story, which is only 7 pages long,
Correct.
and it keeps the spirit of H.P. Lovecraft alive. That book, and it's completely different in the book as well. I mean, the
Do you
book.
want to talk about the book a little bit? Yeah, tell
Yeah,
us a
well,
little bit about the book.
the story is it takes place obviously in Victorian times, 1900s, and it's a simple setup. It's just it's actually Tillinghast, Jeffrey Combs' character, who is the one that gets took over by the machine.
Really?
The other guy, Penn, what's his name?
Pedig? I don't even remember anymore.
That guy, he's
Pentagram.
actually not in that story, I don't think. That
Really?
name is actually taken from Frankenstein, and it's Victor Frankenstein's teacher, whose that name is taken from. But
That's
it's
awesome.
actually Jeffrey Combs' character who is taken over by the machine. It's just the author, the narrator of the story is having a conversation with him, and the whole mystery is just him commenting how Tingas looks different and how he's changed, and all the servants, because it's a rich house and it's set in Victorian times, so all the servants have gone missing, and it's just really it's just describing what the scene is. It's just like a little play, and
Is the
talking machine.
yeah. Is the premise still the same in regards to them trying to access the third eye?
Third eye, yeah, and the little things that are in the little fish monster things that's in there, and that's one of the things that's in the book is all about seeing another universe, another world beyond by looking the magnetic waves of this machine, which is also referenced in the film as well, about magnets, about magnetic waves. So it's pretty consistent in that point, but the whole S&M torture stuff is not in there. It's not in there.
I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? It definitely made
Pretorius.
Pretorius.
Yeah, I keep forgetting and remembering.
It made him a bit more infamous. Not saying S&M is infamous, kids. If that's what you're into, then that's what you're into, as long as you're doing what you're doing safely. But you know what I'm saying? It made him seem like a darker character, like dude's a little fucked up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You get the scene where the sheriff walks in and he's watching that video of him doing what he's doing to that girl, trying to make her scream or whatever. Yeah. Which you also get a call back to that later when he's holding the psychiatrist chick, and he's like, you know what I'm saying? If I was in a different form, like he basically said if I was in a different form, the things I would do to you, or some just weird ass shit. But he told her in the same way. It was just weird, man. Weird movie. Definitely worth a watch though if you're into, you know what I'm saying. I'd say, obviously the cosmic horror, but also, you know what I'm saying. Again, not the most scary, but if you're into the body horror and also, like I said, I had a couple corny moments in it that I liked. Like the gingerbread line was just silly, but I loved it. I loved it. So
we forgot the woman with the dog as well. That needs a mention.
Right. That was like in the very beginning as well. We kind of jumped right over it. In the very beginning of the movie, kids, it starts off with a woman whose dog runs off and runs into the house, correct? And she runs in. Looking for a dog, and what she finds is
Axe.
Yes, she finds Jeffrey there, and she finds Petraeus' head cut off, right?
Yeah.
And so
You
she
don't
runs
see
out.
it, but you see kind of like just the body, but you don't see the head, so it's kind of like mysterious.
I found another inconsistency though.
Did you? Okay.
Who called the cops? How did the cops even know to be there? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was a setup, man. It was all a setup from the beginning.
Could have been, yeah. I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's two inconsistencies.
Two inconsistencies. But for a lot of movies, man, come on, that's pretty good. Because a lot of movies are just more consistencies.
There's usually more.
Yeah. So that's the second inconsistency. But overall, I really liked the movie. It was a fun film. And again, I love the fucking lighting and the effects. That's where it really scratched my itch. I was like, that is the shit. They're killing, especially for the period it was, right? The 80s. Yeah. Not saying they didn't have good effects in the 80s, but like compared to what we have now, compared to things that we have seen, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, they did pretty good, and the effects were not bad. You know what I'm saying? I really enjoyed every scene I saw. Whenever they were doing some weird mutated body horror fucking shit, like it was good. It was good for me. So that satisfied me a lot. Made me crave some more body horror. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it does.
So,
It kind of gives you that itch to scratch, kind of like what else can this guy do? And hopefully he'll get you into the directors of the works because he's done quite
definitely.
a few.
Well, so
I
we
mean,
gotta watch the Reanimator.
well, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's on the list for sure.
I think that's higher
Mhm.
than Beyond
From-
From Beyond for me. I
Mhm.
mean, I love From Beyond, but Reanimated goes in more insane levels, and that's also based on
sure.
a H.P. Lovecraft
I did read that. I
story.
did read that actually.
Yeah,
That's so awesome, man. That's so awesome. I love
yeah,
seeing shit from books taken and put onto the big screen, but done well. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Or done with a twist, unique. Like this, from what you've described with the book, this was different. It
yeah.
still paid homage, but it was creative and unique.
And you know, they only had 7 pages and just one little
That's
scene
so
to work
crazy,
with.
man. There's something
Mm.
to be said for that. That's fascinating that they were able to what's his name? Stuart?
Stuart Gordan, yeah, yeah,
Stuart Gordan was able to do that. That's
mm,
phenomenal, man. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to the writers. Shout out to everybody involved with the film. Again, I really enjoyed Jeffrey, and this was probably my highlight. Jeffrey and the psychiatrist was also really cool. You got to
yeah.
see several different changes of her throughout the film, and
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool. And shout out to the sheriff, man. He was just the smooth,
Yeah, he
cool
was cool. He
motherfucker.
was cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was fun. He was the more kind of like down to earth guy.
yeah,
Like them two affected. He was just like the shit. I'm not gonna have this. You
right.
know,
He was
I'm getting
smart.
out of here. He
He
was smart.
used
Yeah,
common sense. I
yeah.
don't know what the fuck he was cooking though. So like you get the scene where he
I
goes to the kitchen and cooks. It looks like biscuits or something.
yeah. I
Biscuits
thought
for us, right? American biscuits, because you
I
guys
thought
eat
it was like
cookies and
broccoli or something like that. I thought it was like a vegetable.
cauliflower or something. Like I
Yeah,
don't know what it, but like the way he sniffed it
yeah.
and the way
I
it looked, I was like, that doesn't add up. That looks like shit. You're smelling something good, my friend. I don't believe you.
I wanted to ask you what that was because I thought you would have known, but I
No, bro. I've never eaten that ever in my life. I don't know what. It did not look good. It's just these big clumps of like white cauliflower looking shit. And he
yeah,
served himself up 3 portions. And then nobody ate. Right? So like you get that one scene of him cooking, smelling it, laying it out on the plate, and then it just cut right back to the
yeah.
machine. You know what I'm
They
saying?
weren't having it. They weren't having it. That's just they'd rather get back to the big giant fork.
Right. I'm like, why'd you put that in there? Like nobody cared. You get the
Yeah.
one scene where he's like, how about some dinner? You know what I'm saying? And then you get a
Mm,
little montage of him cooking, you know what I'm saying, and serving the plates. It wasn't really a montage, but you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And then right back to the shit. Like, didn't need to be in there, but I thought that was fucking hilarious. I was wondering if you spotted it. I was like, what just happened? I
Yeah,
thought we
I
were gonna
I
have
had
a
no idea what that was, but it did look like cauliflower to me.
yeah, it did. I wonder if that was like a scene that like maybe they did eat and like had a because like it would have made sense for them to sit down and talk about what just happened or something,
Yeah,
you know, or what they're doing. But maybe they cut it out and like he
they could
didn't
have done.
fucking cut it enough or something. Like
Yeah, maybe
you
they
know,
cut it the wrong moment. Maybe they should have cut 2 minutes before, so we wouldn't have to see whatever that was they were cooking. Yeah,
right? I need more explanation there, Stuart. Come
we need
back,
to look.
make the
We
movie
need
again.
we
What
need
the
to
fuck
look at
was
that.
that? Yeah, I don't know what he ate there, comic. That was
Yeah,
that was foul. So, but
yeah,
anyway, not the nastiest thing in the movie though. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Compared to that, that other wet stuff,
Definitely.
goopy stuff.
I agree. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Beyond. Go see that shit. That's on Amazon currently. We're not sponsored by Amazon. I wish we were. That'd be
Mm.
cool. Fucking free movies or something. You don't even got to pay
Mm.
us, Amazon. Just let us get free films. Every film on there, make it free. We'll advertise for you all day. But you know what I'm saying? Definitely a fun movie. Really happy we watched it. Again, guys, we have a list of 1,000 horror films.
Yeah, we do.
De- Depending on what's going on, I may find places for us to post our said list and let you guys pick. I think that would be really fun. But as for 2 weeks from now, comic, I have a movie that
I've been
I'm
looking forward to
picking.
this. I can't wait.
Now that you're excited, I'm like, damn, dude, what if he doesn't like it? Like, what if it's like I'm overhyped? I'm excited. I've never seen it, and it's been remade, I think. And I also think it's by one of my favorite horror directors.
Okay.
I'm seeing if you can put it together. No, okay.
No, I
Uh,
can't. No.
I don't know if this counts as horror to me, but Old Boy. What do we think?
Yes, yeah. I watched it,
I
but
knew you had, but if you want me to pick
but
something else too, I can. We can do something
no,
randomly
no.
different.
No, it's your choice. And Old Boy is one of the films I need to review on Letterboxd.
Okay,
So
for
I
sure.
have,
Well, then,
so I need to watch it. It's a great film to rewatch. Yeah, it's a good choice because it's not horror like body horror, but horror comes in all different types of different genres,
is it
subgenres.
like? But okay, so you say it's not horror,
I
but
think
like,
it's a form of horror. I think it depends
is it
what you find
directed?
scary.
Is it directed by Takashi Mike?
No,
Okay,
no, it's
because
not directed by Takashi Mike.
I think I
It's
need a break, a little bit of a break from my boy. I love Takashi Mike, man.
yeah.
He's one of my favorite. He's probably my favorite Japanese horror director at this time
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't journeyed into others yet. So we'll
Yes.
see what this guy's talking about. But like Takashi Mike is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say it's not horror, like is there just some fucked up scenes or
There's a lot of messed up scenes. There's a lot of messed up scenes
for
in that
sure?
film.
We'll get
There's
into
a
it.
lot of violence in it, and there's a lot of there's a scene with a squid, or an octopus, which is you maybe don't want to eat when you watch that scene. Just
Okay,
FYI,
for
but
sure.
it is on the list of horror films, and it is a very good, well-made film, and it is violent, and it's not horrific, but it's disturbing, and it has a
Definitely.
hell of a twist. Have you seen it? Have you ever seen it?
Never, dude. This is my first. This is why I wanted.
Or
This
the
has been
remake?
on my list for a good couple years. No, the remake got Thanos, right?
Yes, yeah, Josh Brolin.
Yes,
But you haven't
yes.
seen it, have you?
I have.
Yeah.
I have seen parts. I haven't finished it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but this has been on my list ever since I got a glimpse of that. You know what I'm saying? Just gritty. I wouldn't say Tarantino, but there is some Tarantino style going on. I feel in the old,
Hmm.
the new one.
Yeah.
You know, what I'm saying? It's just gritty, and I love that.
Hmm.
So
This one is the original is very gritty. It's filmed well, and it has a really good corridor scene. I won't talk. I feel like we're reviewing it again. I want to save before when we
definitely.
actually get to it.
So
But I'm glad.
coming
I'm glad.
soon.
Good choice. Good choice,
Okay,
Castro.
good. And then you get to pick after that. Kids, 2
Okay.
weeks from now, me and Comic Book Fan are going to be reviewing Old Boy for you guys. What I think is fun about this is we're reviewing movies that have probably been reviewed for fucking years. They're like, why now?
There's like many videos of all these films, but it's it's our take on it. It's
It's like film appreciation, dude. We're
yeah.
we're
And
cinema-heads.
we're just guys, we're not,
Yeah,
we're just the average viewers. So
we're
it's
not IGN. Like,
yeah,
be weird if IGN was like Old Boy review next week. I'd fucking tune in though. Like that'd be awesome. But that's the
yeah.
difference, right? For you guys, like we're fucking film heads. We're nerds for this shit. So like, if IGN was to drop an Old Boy review, like I'd be interested in what they say because I'm into this kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? We are the those that are obsessed, man, from the beyond. You know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah.
obsessed with movies. We're obsessed with fucking films. And that's why we're here, kids. That's why we're talking about these prehistoric films for you guys. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say they're prehistoric classics.
No, yeah, classics, and it shows our taste as well. I knew you'd pick Japanese.
You knew I would. So I'm definitely gonna give you a lot of like you know what you're gonna get, but for them to know, like a lot of weird, a lot of Japanese, a lot of I love to go out of the box. For me, as an American guy who's seen the cliche, and I'm gonna lose all my fans, the cliche American horror movies again and again, because that unfortunately comic is what slasher has become for me, buddy, is
Mhm.
the cliche. So we will be reviewing some slashers, which I love.
Slasher. Yeah.
But for me, I got to go out of the box, man. So that's what you're going to get a lot of versus comic. What can they look forward to with you?
Well, I have like a lot of favorite directors, and a lot of my favorite directors they tend to be more body horror, science fiction. There's a few slashes in there that are my favorites, and there's also a few kind of I like a lot of 50s horror as well,
Which
and
I'm
80s.
excited to check out. I've not watched a lot of the old horror movies. Like any of the
Yeah.
monster movies, I've never seen. Never seen Nosferatu, never seen like any of that. Frankenstein. So maybe we'll get some of that into.
Mhm.
There is
But
one that you talked, it's not a monster movie, but with the shower scene.
Psycho. Yeah, yeah.
Psycho, we probably
We've got to get to that. That might put that as a choice, just
Yeah.
so you can just see it,
For
because
sure.
it's a great film. It's an iconic movie. It's influenced the slasher genre and the horror genre.
Definitely.
But I think for me, mostly will be 80s horror,
Which
because of
I'm
all my
completely
favorite
fine
directors.
with.
Yeah.
I am
And
super excited.
yeah, it's going to be great. And FYI, old boy is Korean, not Japanese. My bad.
Nice. Good to know. Good to know. That's
Sorry,
awesome.
I said Japanese. It's Korean. So yeah,
I
sorry, my
said
bad.
Japanese too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to see a Korean horror movie from back in the day is really cool too, because I'm only like familiar with like current Korean films
Mhm.
like Train to Busan and shit like that. So like to go back and see what they were doing. So I don't know how old the film is. It's not
No,
super old.
2000. Well, it came in UK 2004, but it might have been made 2003. But how it's released, sometimes we could get them 2 years, so it might have been 2003. But I
Okay,
didn't see it until 2000, until it was released in 2004,
for
when I
sure.
was too young to see it. But it was great. It's one of the things I like about it is it's stylish, very stylish. It's
Okay,
very creatively directed. So you're gonna
for
love it.
sure.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love
I'm
it.
looking forward to it, kids. I hope you're looking forward to it. Comic, plug your shit, my friend.
Okay, so so I am on Twitch. I am comic book, same name, comic book fan, and I play a lot of games. Currently, I'm playing Ghostwire Tokyo, Ghostwire,
Yeah,
which is really good, and I'm planning to play Wizard with a Gun, which I've
nice.
just found, and I'm still on Letterbox and worked in many reviews. I'm going to try and do some Christmas films this month, which I've not looked at. I'll just get some in, as well as some horror as well. But and
Very
oh boy.
nice.
But
You
yeah,
got
lots of
to
stuff.
review Polar Express for me, man. That's one of my
I've
favorites.
already done it. I
Yeah.
already 2 years ago.
Okay, nice. That's my favorite. It has a
we
warm
we
spot.
could do it once if we run out of steam on this, we could try Polar Express if
So
you want.
that's the thing. Like we're reviewing horror, but I want you guys to know, like there'll definitely be other movies thrown in the
Yeah,
mix too. Like we're not just gonna only do horror. I just think horror's where me and comic book fan meet the closest. But like we're gonna just watch everything eventually. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how things go. But like that's my plan for this. Is we're gonna start with horror and then eventually maybe we'll be fucking
yeah.
I don't know talking about other shit. We'll see, kids. Comic book fan on Letterbox as well, right?
Yes, Letterbox. Yeah, same name, comic book fan on Letterboxd.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know where to find me. King Castro X Gaming on Twitch. I play games as well. Not as good as comic, but I talk a lot, and that's always fun. You know what I'm saying? Also, kids, check out the Comic Cons podcast on all streaming platforms. That's COMICKHANS podcast on all streaming platforms, kids. I think we're going to be doing a celebrity boxing
Oh,
Comic Con
oh,
panel. We're going to be doing a panel at a celebrity boxing Comic Con, and that's going to be cool. I don't know what the fuck, I don't know, but that's going to be fun, kids. Come see us do that. I may have some new shit going on with SF coming soon. We may be starting a show, so come see that. And Classic Wolf. Kids, check out Soul Tap Podcast. That's my wife's podcast. Soul Tap Podcast, SOLTAP. That's the So Let's Talk About podcast. Check out Classic Wolf Podcast. Socks On or Off Podcast. That is Jules' podcast. Young Master Jules. You guys know him, love him as my other half on the Comic Cons podcast. Check out the Dingus Den. Shout out SF. We're gonna go play Suicide Squad Kills Justice League because we got the early test beta. We're about to go handle that, kids. So we love you. Thank you so much, Comic. This was fucking a blast. I'm ready for the next movie, man. I hope you had
yep.
fun.
Me too. I had fun.
Without further ado, kids, have
Thank
a
you very
wonderful
much.
day. Yes, sir.
Bye.
Peace. Boo boo.